Amazon and DirectTV ink a deal, but I wouldn't get too excited about it unless you're a business owner. Rockingham is for sale, and did NASCAR really try to field a car in its own series? Let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, first things first, DirectTV has inked a deal with Amazon Prime. That is now the only place that you'll be able to see every single NASCAR race if you have one subscription. However, there is a hang-up. Let's get into that story. From Alex Donaldson at SportCal, DirectTV expands sports offerings with NASCAR MLS. The TV heavyweight has agreed to carriage deals for Prime Video NASCAR races and MLS Sunday night soccer games. The U.S. TV heavyweight DirectTV has expanded its sports offering with a pair of new rights carriage deals across soccer and motorsports, courtesy of a new deal with e-commerce giant Amazon's Prime Video OTT streaming service. DirectTV's out-of-the-home business broadcast platform will air the streamer's slate of live broadcasts from US.car Racing's NASCAR. The addition of Prime Video's 5-race package means that DirectTV for Business, which boasts over 300,000 commercial premises as customers, will carry every NASCAR race through the remainder of the 2025 campaign, the only commercial broadcast service to do so. So there you go. Before you get too excited, DirectTV customers, this is only for the business side of the contract. So that would be your barbershops, your sports bars, wherever you would go in public that has a TV to watch a NASCAR race. Those are the accounts that will be able to cover or carry the Amazon Prime races. So that is the deal that was inked. It is not for the direct customer or the customer side of DirectTV. But what this means in the future could be endless. Because right now, it's only for business customers of DirectTV. But what if Amazon can work this deal with DirectTV to maybe cover some of the burden for the costs? Will Amazon expand its lineup going forward? That all remains to be seen, but it is a fair question to ask here. And of course, another fair question to ask here is, why would DirectTV strike this deal when it's only 5 races that they would be missing? Well, I think we got a little context here from the numbers that NASCAR reported the other week about Prime's viewership. And I said the other week, but I meant earlier this week, as in yesterday. According to Nielsen, the Coca-Cola 600 on Prime Video averaged 2.72 million viewers on Sunday night among total viewers. P2 Plus race coverage on Prime Video peaked at 2.92 million viewers, 8:15 to 8:29 p.m. among P2. Sunday's race ranks as the third most watched NASCAR Cup Series non-broadcast event of the year. Among viewers in the coveted 18 to 34 demographic, NASCAR on Prime averaged 229,000 and stands as the most watched non-broadcast NASCAR race in that demo since at least 2022. Among viewers in the 18 to 49 demographic, NASCAR on Prime averaged 800,000, and that stands as the most watched non-broadcast NASCAR race in that demo since at least 2022. Among viewers in the 25 to 54 demographic, NASCAR on Prime averaged 1 million and stands as the most watched non-broadcast NASCAR race in that demo since at least 2022. Sunday's audience on Prime Video posted a median age of 55.8, which is more than 6 years younger than the audiences watching NASCAR Cup Series races on linear networks, which is 61.9. Sunday's post-race coverage on Prime Video averaged 1 million viewers between 11:12 p.m. and 12:19 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, peaking at 1.26 million between 11:15 and 11:29 p.m. That, of course, reported by NASCAR. So there you go. Those are amazing numbers. I was excited to see what kind of numbers Amazon Prime would drum up, since it is a streaming service, something we're not super familiar with as far as this stuff goes. So those numbers are absolutely outstanding. They have outdone every single cable company since 2022 at least. And with numbers that strong, you can bet that Amazon is going to look at the value of NASCAR and probably try to, in the future, increase. Now, they've got to wait a long time because these TV deals are inked, unless they're going to buy into somebody's TV deal and just take it from them or something like that, which Amazon, of course, does have the money to do. But if Amazon sees NASCAR as this valuable of a product going forward, I would fully expect for them to at least consider expanding it at some point. And that could be great, especially if they've already started to ink this deal and start to work with DirectTV DirectTV, where DirectTV would take some of the burden. This could be the future of streaming, the future of television that we're looking at right here. Companies working together, even though one company has the rights, they will work with another company to get it into the household however it has to do it, basically. But definitely, regardless of what you say, very impressive numbers for Amazon Prime, especially the numbers, and I mentioned this on the episode earlier this week, the numbers for the post-race. People have been dying to have some post-race coverage at the racetrack from the network that's covering the race. Look at those numbers. 1 million people watching the post-race, and that's why I said there's no need for me to stream post-race when Amazon is streaming the post-race live from the track. So kudos to Amazon for listening to the fans and actually giving them what they want, and not only giving them what they want, but they did it in a very professional and well-done manner. As many people on YouTube have basically said, Amazon has now set the bar for racing coverage going forward. Rockingham Speedway is officially on the market. The North Carolina racetrack located in Richmond County, home to a 250-acre property replete with racing and community history, was put up for sale this week. This is the latest news in a consequential year for the racetrack, a year that in April saw the Rocks return to the NASCAR Truck Series after more than a decade, as well as its first foray in the NASCAR Xfinity Series since 2004. The property is listed by CBRE Group, a commercial real estate services and investment firm. The move to put the property up for sale was separately confirmed by racetrack owner Dan Levenheim, who bought the venue in 2018 and helped its resurrection. We've basically taken it in first gear as far as we can go, building it out, getting it ready for bigger and better hands, Levenheim told the Charlotte Observer, and the time is right to pass the baton to someone who can take it further than we can. That is from the Charlotte Observer. I found it via Jayski. So there you go. Levenheim took it and basically is going to flip it here. He took and made it as good as he can make it. He got the race there, and that's what he wanted out of this track. And now that he's gotten the race there, he is going to try to flip the property and make some profits. A lot of people have a lot of ideas on this because there was money from the state of North Carolina that helped him refurbish and build this property. So there's going to be some thoughts there. Me personally, as far as I'm concerned, I don't necessarily care because I'm more interested in who is going to buy it, and who is going to buy it will affect whether or not, or how I feel about the state of North Carolina putting money into that racetrack to make it raceable again. And here's why I say that. I think NASCAR most likely is probably going to buy that property. If not, maybe Marcus Smith buys that property. But I do have a good feeling that one of those two entities will buy the property. Because if you remember back a few months ago, Brian Kennedy was talking about the future of NASCAR. And when he was talking about Rockingham, he said Rockingham is going to be in the future of NASCAR. So I have a good feeling that one of those two entities, he probably knows something we don't know. And the track owners know something probably we don't know too. So one of those deals is probably really, really close to getting done. So I do expect Rockingham to continue to be, just looking at my crystal ball, speculation from me, I want to be clear about that. I do think Rockingham is going to continue to be in the NASCAR Touring Series for a long, long time to come, possibly getting a cup date in the near future. But it's just going to be interesting to see if NASCAR buys it or is Marcus Smith going to buy it, and who will, how that will affect the future of the track going forward. But I do think that it will continue to be in the Cup Series, but that's just my thoughts. If it falls out of the Cup Series, then it has certainly wasted money from the state of North Carolina, and then I would have certainly a different opinion about that whole deal. Did NASCAR try to field a car at Sonoma with the help of Spire? Let's get into it from The Athletic here. France was set to financially support an entry to be operated by Spire Motorsports, a team that has been competing in various NASCAR series since 2019 for the Cup road course race. In July at Sonoma Raceway in California, Jack Aitken, a 29-year-old road course specialist who drives for France-owned team Action Express Racing in the International Motorsports Association, IMSA, also owned by NASCAR Sports Car Series, was tabbed to be the driver. But the deal, which was close to completion, fell apart shortly after The Athletic began asking questions about the arrangement last week. Spire co-owner Jeff Dickerson confirmed the plans, but insisted the car would not have been fielded by France's team directly. It was intended to be a Spire entry staffed by Spire personnel, he said. Dickerson emphasized France did not get a good guy deal and was going to pay the same price anyone else would for having Spire run an extra car, which can stretch resources and cause distractions to the full-time entries. So there you go. Also mentioned in there was Hendrick, of course, was going to help because that's where Spire gets their engines from. Spire gets a lot of help from Hendrick. So immediately, and fairly enough, the conspiracy theory hats went on. NASCAR and Hendrick were in cahoots to run a car, you know what I mean? So that was one aspect of it that got people all up in arms. The other aspect of it was just Dickerson himself saying they weren't going to get a good guy deal or anything like that. So that also further, threw fuel onto that fire that, NASCAR was in cahoots, with Spire and with Hendrick, because obviously they were if they were going to run a team, right? But let's take all of that and put it to the side, even though that is a huge deal right there, and ask another question. Why did NASCAR want to run a car at Sonoma? What were they hoping to gain? What were they hoping to learn from that situation? And could they have used that in court, or were they using that for their own just general information as to how much it costs to run a car in the series? To which we don't really have any real answers for that, because obviously NASCAR is not going to come out and talk about it. Jim France is not going to come out and talk about it. Steve Phelps, to my knowledge, as of the recording of this, hasn't come out and said anything about it. So it's just really, really interesting going forward what NASCAR was trying to gain. Were they trying to do something to help them in the 2311 case? Were they trying to do something to help them with the cost of NASCAR going forward in the future? All kinds of questions out there, but really not a ton of answers, at least as far as I have gathered so far. And a few odds and ends before we go here. It was something we proactively brought up to have further discussion on improving the short track package. Ford said, obviously, the drivers all embraced that topic and requested more and more horsepower. So we said, you got it, we'll look into it. We are working with engine builders on that, and we'll see if it's something that's put into place this season. That from NASCAR.com. And of course, the topic he's talking about there from the Hauler Talk episode, which is where that came from, is the 750 horsepower package, which could be in the cars as early as this season. So everybody that wants more horsepower, it looks like more horsepower is in fact on the way. Hopefully it will help the short track and road course packages. And another final note here, more positive news for RFK. Of course, Brad Keselowski got his first top 10, top 5 of the season. They also got some of their points back from that penalty, of course, to the 17 car. And this is what it was. The penalties issued were a 2-race suspension to Graves, $75,000 fine to the team, and a loss of 60 championship points and 5 playoff points to the driver and owner. Well, the appeals panel has amended that, and they amended that to a loss of 30 championship driver and team owner points, a loss of 5 team owner playoff points, a 2-race suspension for the crew chief, and $75,000 fine for the team. So the fine stays the same. The points are cut in half. The playoff points remain the same. And the suspension remains the same, but he did get 30 points back, so that is definitely going to aid Chris Buescher, and hopefully this is the momentum for all of RFK to get back on the right path here going forward. All right, that's all I got for you on this one. Glad you stuck around this long. Hope you have a good rest of your evening, early morning, whenever you see this, and until the next one, peace.